All right, welcome back to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Rich Walsh in for Bob Pompiani tonight. We're going to continue our Steelers discussion, and I'm going to pose a hypothetical question since we were talking about the quarterbacks, guys. So say Week 10, the Rams are 10-0, they lose their quarterback. Is there a chance, if Ben Roethlisberger stays healthy, I saw him playing golf, he looks like he's in shape right now, do they pick up the phone, Chris, and give him a call and say, we need a quarterback? The two guys we got now can't win games in the playoffs. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger could behind a line that he can play in.
Is their goal to win the Super Bowl? Then no. Is their goal to finish 10-7 after a 10-0 start? Then maybe. Yeah, call him up.
There aren't too many options out there. I still think he could be a viable option for a team that is close to contending.
Who was calling on him after? Like, who was going to call on him? You know, after 2020 or something, when he was kind of in limbo. Who was all out there wanting Ben Roethlisberger? Who wanted him back?
Well, now he's a year removed. I'm just throwing this question out there. I don't know. I didn't think anyone would want him as a starter to compete for a starting job. But a guy like a John Kitna or one of these guys, or Brett Favre, call this guy out of retirement.
Brett Favre clearly had more left in his arm by the time he got to the Vikings for that last little tour of duty than Ben Roethlisberger does. I think it's pretty much out there. We're in the Pittsburgh fishbowl where people were inclined to still believe in the guy against all evidence to the contrary that they should not have been believing in him. The rest of the NFL at large, I think, knows what Ben himself can't admit, that he's done. So I don't think anybody's calling him.
I agree with that. And then after 10 weeks of inactivity, boy, do I not believe that Ben Roethlisberger is going to roll off of a couch and conduct an offense at any high level. I mean, I don't know. He might want to do it,
though.
Oh, dear.
I
mean, it was fine.
You don't think maybe he stays in shape just for the fact that it might happen?
I think the only guy that likes Ben more than Ron Cook is probably Bruce Arians. So I think that if something happened to Brady and he was looking at his options of Blaine Gabbert or Big Ben, I think he'd call him. I think he would.
But that was a downfield passing attack they were running last year. Brady was getting rid of the ball quick, but he was taking big shots downfield.
I agree, but it goes from a little pop gun offense with Ben to no offense with Gabbert. Those would be their options at that point. Have Ben dink and dunk or have Blaine Gabbert just suck. So I think in that situation, that's why Drew Brees got a call from the Saints. No one else called him, but he knew their system. Sean Payton said, okay, we lost Jameis. Drew, will you come out of the broadcast? He was terrible in the broadcast booth. So I figured, come on, come play football. I think that's the one. You look for situations where, like, Favre went to Minnesota because he knew Brad Childress and the way they played. That was a Holmgren offense. And I think you'd look at Arians and Byron Leftwich, and Ben might say, okay.
I would argue that Brees was a heck of a lot more productive at the end of his career than Ben was at his.
I would not.
Ben didn't have
I would not. I would not. I thought in his last playoff game against Tampa Bay, he looked like he was throwing it like the kid from Rookie of the Year. He had to throw it underhand in order to strike people
I think they had the same. I think they had the same problem. Brees' arm was shot the last 2 years late in the season. The one difference between Brees and Roethlisberger, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. Brees has always been a maniac about keeping his whole body in shape, even if the shoulder would just get weak by the end of the year. Ben hasn't. Like you said, he's still playing golf and he looks good, Richie. You and I are golfers. It's golf. Like you don't have to look great. You know, Duffy Waldorf was winning titles. Craig Stadler, a guy called the Walrus, was one of the best players on tour for a while. So I don't look at the fact that he's playing golf as a sign that he's going to keep his body in shape. Because I wonder, like, you know, Bill Cowher, everyone was surprised that he decided to like the broadcast booth, and Ben's comments to Ron kind of make it seem like there was maybe a fire that still burns. I think after actually not having to do football stuff for the first part of fall, he's not going to suddenly want to start again because some team might have a vacancy.
But like he said, maybe a guy that's like a closer, a guy that might be able to win a couple games for you if Brady goes down. That's a perfect situation. That would be.
He wouldn't do that to the Steelers, Richie. Come on.
He'd do it to Colbert and Tomlin to give them a proverbial middle finger for all kinds of things.
What about wanting to go to a place where Brady might have gotten him off to an 8-2 start and gets hurt?
Takes it, the old cowboy comes riding in.
No, the old cowboy doesn't have it, and then suddenly it's like, look, Tom Brady with this team had him 8-2, and you couldn't do anything.
I think Ben already knows he's worse than Brady. That's one of the rare instances where he concedes that the other guy's
I'm not even saying from that perspective. I'm saying it would just look like a blight on his career. Two future Hall of Famers, one did this with that roster, and one couldn't do anything coming in to save the day.
Okay, I think we're split. I'm with Pony. If some situation arises and he stays in shape, I think someone would call him. I don't know if he would entertain it, but I think that he would get a phone call. So we got to take a break. We got Bucko Fever coming up next. We're going to ask Jason Mackey a couple questions about the trade deadline, which is about 8 days away. Back in a couple minutes.